Okay, so I wanted to do a quick presentation on the keys to breaking bad habits and addictions because a lot of people are curious, are interested in how I was able to do 100 days of monk mode, or at least get rid of bad habits, vices, temptations, addictions that I had in my life. And I just wanted to share the information that I've encountered through my many years of trial and tribulation so that you could begin to make the proper steps in the right direction today. Okay. You may not change right away. You may not necessarily break all of your bad habits or your addictions today, but the fact that you're here listening to this will begin to start shifting your awareness, your perspective, the way you think, the way you see things, so that you can begin to bring your energy to a different level and then start funneling it and channeling it into a different area. Okay. So let's get right into it. The very first thing I want to share with you is this cycle, this diagram that I came up with. It's called, the cycle of bad habits and addictions. All right. So let's take a look at this. We have, on one hand, unmet needs, unmet emotional needs, and then trauma. And then we also have the activity or behavior that we go to. And then at the bottom, I put habit gone wild. Okay. And then when you combine all of these three together, you have a vicious cycle. Okay. Now I want you to really think about this. Okay. So most people engage in a vice, in a bad habit, and an addiction because they have an unmet emotional need or they've been traumatized in the past. Okay. Really think about that and test if what I'm saying is valid. Look at your own life and think about what activity or behavior are you engaging in on a daily basis that you cannot stop, and analyze, why do you do it? Are you doing it because you're bored? Are you doing it when you're lonely because you have no friends, no family? Maybe your parents abandoned you. Maybe you don't really have anyone you can connect to on a deeper level. Or maybe you're missing something of a higher purpose. Maybe you're disconnected to God, to source, or you're not having something to kind of look forward to, something to do, a higher purpose. And because of that, you're using one of these activities as alcohol, weed, drugs, gambling, playing video games, maybe cutting yourself, binge eating, as a way to medicate or to comfort yourself, right? A lot of people who binge eat, it's because they're either bored or they're not happy with where they are, not happy that they can control themselves, and they get pleasure from eating, okay? I had a trouble with, I wouldn't say crazy binge eating, but during COVID, right? When I was running my family's business in Orange County by myself, working 9 to 5 in an office, we're 9 to 5 in a job, right? Or it was actually 10 to 6, but you get the idea. It was a 9 to 5 job. And I was literally sitting down all day and I was literally out of my elements, right? So after work, I would always go out to either Chipotle or I'd buy bags of potato chips and I would just eat, right? I've never had that problem before, right? I've never had problems with binge eating. And there were times where I would even like throw up and then go eat again. It's fucking crazy, all right? That's when I was like, wow, I am suffering with this eating disorder. But I realized I've never had this problem before. It was because I had an unmet emotional need. And that, which we'll be covering in the next section, is that I wasn't applying myself, right? I was literally deprived of interaction. I mean, people came in the store, but I didn't really have friends out there. I didn't have my family out there. I was fucking bored out of my mind. There was nothing to do. COVID, everyone's wearing a fucking face mask. And it was just like, oh my God, this is stupid shit. What is going on? People are being crazy. So all of this stuff created a lot of, I guess, turmoil in my internal state. And as much as I was able to counterbalance a lot of this through working out, meditation, breath work, fundamentally, humans have mental, emotional, and spiritual needs that need to be fulfilled in order to be happy. And because I wasn't receiving that, I turned to food for the very first time, right, of my life as a way to comfort myself, right? But let's look at this. A lot of people have suffered emotional trauma in the past or physical trauma, right? They've been hurt, they've been abused sexually, or they've been abused mentally, emotionally. People, parents, teachers have told them that they're worthless, or they've believed, if they've told themselves, right? I'm not going to amount to anything, I'm not good enough. They have certain beliefs that have become conditioned, right? Unconscious patterns that they've repeated to themselves over and over again, so that now they have a poor image of themselves, poor perception of who they are and what they're able to achieve. And because of that, they turn to either one of these activities as a way to comfort themselves, right? To repair the harm, the trauma that they've undergone, right? As a way to repair this, they turn to the activities, because alcohol does numb your feelings. It brings you to your senses for a good amount of time. Same with weed, same with any other drugs, right? And then the high you get from gambling, playing video games, cutting yourself, and binge eating, although temporary, does make you feel better, right? It takes away the pain for a short amount of time. So what people are doing, it's an unconscious attempt at self-love, right? And the more you have feelings of abandonment, feelings of loneliness, inadequate self-worth, the more you'll turn to these activities to do this, because you don't have a better option. And the more you do these two, the stronger the habits will become, right? And here I put, it's a temporary pleasure. You know it's bad, but you just can't stop doing it, okay? And this is the cycle of bad habits and addictions. And then here, there's a crazy quote that I want to read to you guys. The chains of habit are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken, okay? Now, the reason I was able to come up with this diagram and like talk to you guys like this and explain to you what's on the other side is because I've been through this, right? My biggest problem for the longest time was being hooked on weed, right? I smoked weed when I was in high school for the first time. It was first few times, it was fun. It was just straight out of leisure, out of activity, but it was because it was because of a girl, right? It was because of like heartbreak. So I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to try this out. Everyone's doing it, you know? And then after a while, I used weed every time I was bored, every time I was not happy, every time I was, just not feeling up to par. Weed makes you feel better. So any one of these activities that make you feel better, it could be anything. You will use it as a coping mechanism, okay? So knowing this, having the awareness of this diagram, of this model, I'm going to explain to you the core of what you're going through and how to address it, okay? So we have here are two models, okay? We have Tony Robbins' 6 Human Needs, and we have Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs, okay? When you understand the reason why you're doing what you're doing and why you're trying to fulfill a certain need, once you develop this awareness, now you can go about life at a higher, not frequency, but a higher mode of consciousness, because you understand fundamentally what is going on, okay? So to quickly go over Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs and Tony Robbins' 6 Human Needs, you have to understand that human beings have mental, emotional, and spiritual needs. Tony Robbins is going to be an easier way to digest this. If you haven't watched his TEDx talk about the 6 Human Needs, why we do what we do, you'll understand that everyone, right, has the need for certainty or uncertainty and variety, significance, love, and connection. Okay, let's start with the 4 needs of the personality. For example, you need to be certain, he says, that you have a home to come home to, or you need to be certain that you have food to eat. You need to be certain that you have, XYZ at home. You need to have a level of certainty, right? If you don't have a level of certainty, you're always going to be fearful. You're always going to be unsure, anxiety, right? I don't know when the next paycheck's coming in. So you need to have certainty of certain things, okay? You need to have uncertainty when it comes down to like the events of life. Maybe when you go to the gym, you don't know who's going to be there. So you need to have a level of uncertainty and variety so that you don't get bored out of your mind. Because if you're certain everything is going to be the same way every time, then you're just going to be bored, right? And then feeling significant, feeling love and connection, these are the next needs, right? And then when you understand that, everyone is doing something to feel significant, like I'm teaching you guys because I enjoy, right, creating this, but also enjoy the value, the significance that I get from people getting empowered or feeling like the light bulb turned on. So I feel significant when I help people, right? And then I also, right, love and connection can get love and connection by genuinely helping someone, right? And then growth and contribution can also be included in this. But what I'm trying to say here is all these needs are necessary in order for you to feel fulfilled as a human being. If you do not meet these needs as a human being, you're going to find a way to meet them. You're going to get certainty through playing video games. You're going to get certainty through doing drugs. You're going to get certainty through doing whatever it is that, helps you feel certain, right? So you'll find a way to meet your needs despite what it is, harm that is causing you, okay? Now, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is very similar to Tony Robbins' 6 human needs, but it's a little bit more extensive, okay? If you look at the pyramid and you look at the chakra system, that's kind of where Abraham Maslow based off of it. At the bottom rung, you have physiological, right? Physiological needs, breathing, food, water, sex, sleep, homeostasis, excretion, peeing, pooping, etc. Once you've solidified the bottom rung, now you have to worry about your safety, right? So once you've got access to food, water, sex, sleep, your next level up is safety, right? Your family, making money, having a job, making sure you're having income, etc., right? Next level. And then third level would be love and belonging, right? So if we break this down so far, we have certainty, uncertainty and variety, significance, love and belonging, and love and connection, right? And then growth and contribution would be esteem and self-actualization, meaning to get esteem within your tribe, now you have to bring value, right? You have to find a way to become respected by other people. And then ultimately, what Abraham Maslow says as the pinnacle of human potential is to actualize yourself, to figure out who you are, to bring your potential into this realm, right? Self-actualization. So when you understand that we have human needs the same way the body has physical needs, like if we have nutrient deficiencies, like your body is lacking vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D, etc., it's going to behave in a way where it's like my mood is off. I have issues with my brain. I have issues with my body. I have issues with the way I feel. And you start getting cravings. Well, that's your body's way of letting you know I'm missing a certain nutrients, right? So when you understand that there's human needs, there are mental, emotional, and spiritual needs of your psyche, right? When you aren't getting them, you're going to find a way to meet those needs unconsciously. And you will turn to these bad habits, addictions, or vices as a way to comfort yourself or to way to meet your needs. So when you understand this core, this right here, my friends, will set you on the path to breaking free, okay? Just this awareness alone will help you. But I'm going to give you some steps that you can implement, okay? Oh, one more thing, right? When it comes down to mental and emotional needs, look, Viktor Frankl, Holocaust survivor, says, when a person can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure. And then we have here a spin-off of this, a man who lacks purpose distracts himself with pleasure. Viktor Frankl, he was a Holocaust survivor, and he found that the people who were able to survive the concentration camps had something to look forward to. Not like, oh, I'm gonna, go out and play. No, it's like they had hope or faith that maybe one day they'll survive to tell the story. So when they have a deep sense of meaning, they can persevere, right? So when a man doesn't have a higher purpose, a deep sense of mission in life, then he's going to find that in video games. He's going to find that in drugs. He's going to find a way to meet his needs in lower level behaviors, lower level activities, okay? So Understanding all of this, let's go over some steps that you can start taking or start implementing ideas. Even if you don't act on these ideas, it helps to get them into your brain, okay? So there's 8 things I wrote here. I would encourage you to at least implement one of them, okay? Because you're probably going to watch this video, you're probably going to watch 10 other videos on YouTube, and you're not going to take action on any of them, which happens to a lot of people, okay? So you have to commit to at least one thing. Otherwise, this just becomes information that you ingest, you forget about it, you're still stuck in the same shit, right? The very first thing I write here is you need to develop awareness and consciousness, okay? This is like the most fundamental step in changing. You need to have a higher level of awareness, a higher level of consciousness by consuming more information in regards to what you're trying to accomplish and what you're trying to change, right? For example, you're watching this. What is this doing? If you're resonating with my information, what this is doing is it's creating new synapses, firing new neurons in your brain, connecting new neural pathways, neural networks, so that you're beginning to see things, in a different light, right? That's why they say awareness is light, right? Consciousness is light. Unconscious behaviors, not aware, is darkness. The goal, in my opinion, of human beings, of human evolution, spiritual evolution, is to expand your consciousness, your level of consciousness. The more conscious you can become of everything going on in your life, from the way you think, from the way you feel, from your habits, from your traumas in the past, from the type of life you want to live, the more conscious you can become, the more likely you'll be able to break your habits and form new ones, okay? Awareness, consciousness is the essence of life. It's the essence of who we are. If you're not conscious, the less conscious you are, the more animal-like you'll become, right? Think of the animals. Yes, certain animals are conscious, but they cannot self-reflect and think and let you know, I'm feeling this way because of this, X, Y, and Z. We have animalistic instincts. You poke us, you poke someone, they'll react, right? There are certain instincts programmed in, but as a higher level spiritual being, you have control of this process. You can choose what type of response you want to give if I poke you. If I poke you, you can think about, how do I want to react, right? When you develop awareness by ingesting new information, like the model I just gave you, the first model, this one right here, 6 human needs, or this one, the vicious cycle, what that's doing is that's creating more circuitry in your brain, right? You're expanding your awareness, you're expanding your consciousness, and you're like, whoa, I didn't know that. I didn't know it was because it was unmet emotional needs. Well, I'm telling you, most people, if not all, who engage in a bad habit or an addiction is doing it because of an unmet emotional need. And I want you to prove me otherwise, okay? I thought really, really deeply about this stuff. So once you know that, how do you go about changing, right? Well, first, keep developing your awareness. You need to meditate. You need to journal. You need to self-reflect. You need to close your eyes, put down the goddamn phone, and just look inside of you and ask yourself, what is going on? How do I change, right? What is causing me to repeat this behavior over and over and over and over again? When you self-reflect, you increase your self-awareness. When you increase your self-awareness, you increase your consciousness. And when you increase your consciousness, you increase your ability to change, okay? And the second step, after you've increased your consciousness, either through meditating, closing your eyes, and journaling, is to just get on your knees and pray, okay? I'm not Christian. I'm not religious by any means. I'm a spiritual guy. For me, praying is just closing your eyes and connecting with the thing that is animating you right now, okay? Meaning you're living, your heart is beating, there's a certain animating force within your life, and it's animating everyone. It's animating me, it's animating you, it's animating the flowers, the trees, the bees. There is a force, right? Like Star Wars, that's animating the whole entire existence. You don't have to believe in God. I choose to believe in God after enough encounters of the divine, right? Or synchronicity, or just like there just comes a point where it's like there has to be a God, okay? Just pray to the force of the universe and admit that you need help, okay? Get on your knees and pray and cry if you need to. Most guys haven't cried in a while, right? I've literally gotten on my knees and cried for help because I was in so much pain of repeating a bad habit, okay? And magical things will happen, right? If you're an atheist or agnostic and you're having problems, then you better pray. You better get on your knees and pray, right? There's a reason why Alcohol Anonymous, their first step is like, admit that you're powerless, right? You have to admit that you cannot go about this alone. There will come a point where you get humbled by the circumstances of life and you need help. And whether you believe in your ancestors or spirits or spirit guides, you're going to have to pray to someone or something, and you're going to have to ask for help. Or you could sell your soul to the devil and get help that way too, right? You're going to have to pray to something, right? I choose to pray to the creator, life, or the source, right? Source consciousness. You have to acknowledge that there is a higher order. There is a divine presence pervading all things that can support you if you align with it, okay? That is the second step. The third step is you want to set an intention and a goal for who you want to become. Meaning once you've prayed, now it's like, okay, where do I want to funnel my energy? Who do I want to be? Well, who do I want to become? Right? When's the last time you sat down and really thought about what type of man or woman do I want to be? What type of attributes do I want to have? What type of characteristics do I want to have? What do I want to accomplish in my life? How do I want my life to look like? What do I want to experience in my lifetime? Consciously, aka awareness, right? Conscious of developing awareness. When's the last time you've consciously sat down and set an intention, a goal for who you want to be, what you want to experience, and who you want to become, right? When's the last time you've done that? Probably not in a long time. Really important. Okay, the fourth thing, build better habits, all right? Don't worry about breaking them, okay? If you've tried stopping your addiction, your bad habits, and you failed, and you've beaten yourself up about it, what I'm going to tell you here is going to contradict that. Stop trying to stop. In fact, keep doing it. Do it more. Increase the frequency in which you do it. Meaning if you're smoking pot, drinking alcohol, do more. I mean, safely, obviously, but keep it up. Feel the pain. Allow it to cause pain in your life and use awareness. Feel that pain. Feel how much pain it causes you. And if it doesn't hurt enough, do it more, right? Do it more. But on top of that, focus on building better habits. Build the habit of meditating in the morning. Build the habit of working out. Build the habit of eating healthy. And ironically, the more you do that, the more you build better habits and the more you engage in the bad habits, the bigger the contrast will be. You'll be like, wow, this feels better. This sucks. This feels better. This sucks. And eventually you'll choose the better habit over the worst one. Okay. Okay. I got to run through these because I'm gotta get going. But the other one is change your environment, right? If you don't like where you're living, if you don't like the people you're around, move, change, get out of there, right? I think it was Jim Rohn. It's like, you're not a tree. You don't have to just stay there. Figure out a way to get out, move, save up some money and move, right? And then number 6, program or reprogram your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is what controls your habits. If you're not aware, if you're unconscious, that means there's a lot of shit programmed in your subconscious that you need to become conscious of because it's below conscious. It's subconscious. So begin to program and reprogram your mind. And if you're like, oh, how do I do that? Well, how do you watch TikTok reels? How do you look up shit online? How do you Google? Oh, no. Okay, number 7, find a purpose. Find a higher purpose, right? If you don't have something better to do with your life, you're always going to resort back to the things, the lower level behaviors, because there's just nothing better to do. You have to figure out what is your purpose here on earth, and everyone has one, and you don't give up until you find it, right? And you don't give up until you've developed the mental capacity, the awareness to solve these problems, right? It took me multiple years of pain and repeating bad habits in order to fix this problem. So you're not going to fix it over in one night, but if you fill your mind and fill your mind with this information and you just keep watching videos on this, eventually you're going to make it. So that's all I wanted to share. My heart goes out to you if you're in a lot of pain. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Follow the light, right? Remember, develop your consciousness. That is probably going to be the most powerful way to change, right? Raise your awareness. Become more conscious. Ask for help from a higher power. Pray to God, pray to your spirit guides, and just ask for divine intervention because you can't do this alone. And then follow everything else that I've shared about this. Remind yourself of the unmet emotional needs you have going on in your life and figure out how you can meet your emotional needs by either changing your environment, finding better people to surround yourself with, eating better food, focusing on the things that's going to move your life forward the most, and you should be good. If you have any questions, send me a message, drop them in the comments down below. Have a good one. Peace.